It's time for the Jim and Terry Show. Stay the fuck out of Ukraine. Vladimir's gone insane. Power to the golden blue. Make them pay for what they do. Stay the fuck out of Ukraine. Vladimir's gone insane. Tanks and bombs will never work. Spilling blood will make it worse. So stay the fuck out of Ukraine. Vladimir has gone insane. Stay the fuck out of Ukraine. Vladimir has gone insane. Tanks and bombs will never work. And spilling blood will make it worse. The Jim and Terry Show, coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in downtown. Bright, sunny, no dark and cold and overcast. Bob Cajun. An empty chair waiting my good friend's return. Jim, hope you're enjoying this fun in the sun. Stay the F out of Ukraine. Ooh, indeed. Nearing a year since that fateful invasion. And I say fateful because it has changed, from what I have read, nearly every measure of Russia's stature in the global community. Ostracizing Russia, making Russia an outsider, an outlier, if you follow statistics and analysis. By every measure that I've read, not the least of which is the economic one, Russia is a hollow shell of its former self. Now that doesn't mean it's still not capable of delivering some nastiness on the battlefield. We've already encountered the nastiness of organizations such as the Wagner Group, a group of mercenaries. Now the U.S. is declaring them to be an international terrorist organization. I don't know the exact words of that decision by the United States, but I believe most of Europe will also do something along the same, mark the Wagner Group as an international source of ne'er-do-wellness. But it's not just the Wagner Group perpetuating or perpetrating, I guess, scenes of war criminal activities on the battlefront, taking unusual steps to brutalize the Ukrainian population. It is the regular armed forces as well perpetrating scenes of gross violence against the people. Not the military so much, although there are military targets, but bombing willy-nilly civilian centers, apartment buildings, hospitals, schools, etc. It goes on and on, the list of atrocities that Russia is continuing to wreak on Ukraine. And what are we doing? Well, in the news today, the Leopard 2 German tanks, which is quite a controversial piece of artillery or weaponry, has been approved to be used in the Ukrainian battlefields, especially retaking the stuff that Putin has claimed to be his own, the Donbass region, the areas of the four provinces, I guess is how Putin would refer to them, Russian provinces. They had a ballot, didn't they? They voted in free elections. Yes, free elections were the people were escorted to, and I'm not sure that there were actually armed soldiers, but people were rounded up to make sure they voted. Yeah, I'm not sure that's a free election when you're forced out of your house and escorted to a polling station in order to cast a ballot that you know is expected to vote for Russia. So free will democracy, don't call it democracy. Don't call Russia democracy. Call it neo-fascism. Call it dictatorship. Call it ruthless governing with one person, one individual. But the Leopard tanks may change things up, and it is the hope that 2023 may be a year of peace. Not peace at any price, as in the Chamberlain waving of the flapping document coming down off of a plane landing in London signed by Adolf Hitler. It won't be that kind of peace. Ukraine will set the terms of this, and I believe it will be the liberation of all Russian-occupied Ukrainian territory, including Crimea. And I don't know how that will take place, but I'm thinking a battlefield victory in the east may be the start of it. Leopard 2 tanks will probably be the best way to advance that, along with all the various equipment that Canada and NATO are supplying to Ukraine, because this is a battle against an aggressor state, a rogue state, Putin state, Russian state, and the Russians don't know what Pandora's box they opened when they decided to march into Ukraine. That's my assessment as one who has read a lot on this issue and has studied history for most of my life, especially European history, especially World War II. The decision to use German tanks in this battlefield operation is not lightly taken. The history of Germany post-World War II and the confines that they were placed under so that they would not remilitarize and would not raise another army and march across Europe as they did after World War I. This time it would be different, and part of that was what weapons are you allowed to have and not have, and most of it was defensive. But as Russia became an aggressor in the area, the shackles were off of the German war machine, and they were able to liberate some of their industries and manufacture their own weapons systems, which are now used throughout NATO countries as well. But letting them go to an active battle, that was a hard decision. I know a lot of people are saying Germany has been dragging their feet on this issue. I think it was a tough decision given Germany's history of militancy and militarism in Europe, 100 years or more, back to the Franco-Prussian Wars perhaps. But it's challenging to find diplomatic solutions to a tangled web of lies and deceit. I have no qualms in assigning guilt for all of this mess in the world to Putin, and I just wish he would come to his senses and stop your shooting, Mr. Putin, or as I like to say in the song, it's time to get the F out of Ukraine. And in fact, he should never have stepped in there. He did it in 2014, took over Crimea without ne'er a shot being followed. And I always wondered, what on earth was Obama doing when this happened in 2014? And I am not familiar with all the foreign policy decisions or all the backroom deals that might have gone on in order to keep peace in that area, because that to me was a no-brainer that you had to do something. However, in the thick of things in the Middle East, Syria running amok, ISIS running amok, forces were forced, I think, to pick and choose your battles, and Crimea was not going to be one of them, but it should have been at that time. Turn it back. It's easier to do it at the beginning of this nonsense than it is 10 years later. So stay the F out of Ukraine. That includes Crimea. So sorry, Putin, you got to go. And if you did it willingly and just left the premises with Elvis, that would be a good thing and save a lot of bloodshed. And Hopefully, somebody in Russia is listening. Somebody will make a rational decision. Get the F out of Ukraine, because it's insanity that you were there in the first place. The Jim and Terry Show, hoping for peace in 2023. Bye-bye for now.